Afternoon all, let's have a look at a game from the World Rapid Championship, which is now finished. The official World Blitz and Rapid Championships are being held July 1st to 11th in Astana, the capital city of Kazakhstan. So that's where Borat, the fictional Borat character, comes from, Kazakhstan. It is worth noting that the Rapid Championship is the first time that FIDE have organised it. And so the top 10 players of the current FIDE list have the right to take part. Total prize fund $400,000 US. And the time control of this is 15 minutes for all moves and 10-second increment per move. Okay, so in this game, this is a really exciting game, I thought, so let's have a look at it. Sergey Karjakin against Grischuk. Okay, so this is on the 6th of July. E4 from Sergey, and Grischuk replies with a seemingly solid, Caro-Kann. Now we see E5. Sometimes E5, a lot of players put off because of the F5 square and the associated pain of black blockading with F5 and maybe getting bishop outside the pawn chain and having a very solid structure in the centre. But we'll see how it panned out here. Bishop F5 after knight F3 E6. Now bishop E2, so not wanting to exchange off the light square bishops just yet. Okay, so knight E7. Black's a bit tangled here though. He has to spend more time than usual to get his bits out because this pawn wedge does mean the F6 square has been taken away, that natural square for the knight. After castles we see H6. So black is rearranging the pieces. This bishop could go here, maybe this knight can go there, then the bishop could develop to E7 say. So after knight Bd2, this is a common idea which I think we've seen before on this channel. Knight B3 would try and bind the C5 square and add more support for D4. Knight D7, now knight B3. So black might want to liberate with C5 and also play knight C6 to put more pressure on white's centre. So knight B3 is a kind of prophylaxis type move against black liberating with C5. Now bishop G6 actually is chosen, so it's giving F5 for the knight, which means the bishop could come out and black could castle. After A4 now, okay, black does play knight F5 and white gains a bit more space on the queen side with A5. Now here actually any G4s look a bit suspect maybe because of knight H4 looks like a reasonable thing for black. Rook C8 was played. And now C4, which undermines a bit black's centre and maybe gives access to B5. If black's going to take like this, then B5 might be useful. And also generally this bishop, it could be a menace on this diagonal. So bishop E7, now C takes D5. So the pawn structure change here. Black plays now C takes D5 rather than E takes D5. Okay, which gives black also this C-file pressure, but of course B6 has been taken away from this by this pawn, so there's no manoeuvre like this to worry about. Now bishop D3 and now black castles, and now actually white lashes out. Sergey lashes out with G4, so seemingly weakening move, a bit courageous here. Knight H4 and now knight takes H4, bishop takes D3, not bishop takes H4 but bishop takes D3. Okay, so he can take H4 in a moment because he's attacking the rook. So queen takes D3, bishop takes H4. So has white just got a position riddled with weaknesses here? He's got a pawn here, he's got these pawns here, and these pawns don't look particularly amazing. But on the bright side, black hasn't got a blockading piece on F5, fairly obvious. Maybe F4, F5 you might think. Could be a good sort of breakthrough to try and smash black's king up. Bishop D2 is played though for the moment. Okay, and now Grischuk plays F5, and white is very careful to maintain this pawn wedge. This E5 is a very useful pawn wedge, depriving squares from black. And all white does to react to F5 is just play H3. So it's like he's accepting that his dream of maybe dream plan of F4, F5 is is that the question here. But f5 is an excuse to kind of use this G file. So this becomes the new access route for this game to get to black's king, and the pawn wedge plays an important role to keeping out defences out of f6, say, and poking into that d6 square as well. So this is the access route combined with a pawn wedge combination, which actually is very, very dangerous. And white does have the option of g takes f5. He maintains that option to peel open that G file. If black ever plays fg, then again, you know, white can recapture towards the centre, and again maybe play f4, f5 might be on the cards. So actually here, Grischuk plays queen e7, just trying to hold that fort together. We see f4, and okay, where is black's counterplay here? The bishop's just eyeing, okay, it eyes e1, but it doesn't seem to be that useful. a6 is played, and now king h2, so white is preparing maybe the use of the G file, which looks kind of crude, but it's difficult for black really to do much here, especially given this pawn wedge. It plays an important role in stopping defensive resources. We've got a simple peeling plan for the G file now, combined with a strong pawn wedge. So rook f3, and it might look as though this is irrelevant, because how can the rook go there with the bishop there? Well, okay, now logic dictates you'd have to first remove the bishop, and then you could play rook g3. So how does white remove the bishop? Well, we're going to see now a nice little knight maneuver plan coming up. Okay, rook c4, rook g1, first rook installed on that G file, rook fc8, and now bishop c3, depriving an entry point. And okay, white's got this powerful centre, pawn wedge still. King h8, first sign of a waiting move. What else is black going to do here? And now the knight maneuver, a key knight maneuver, knight d2. So it looks as though the knight now is heading to evict the bishop, and then rook g3 is possible. Very simple, but potentially very effective plan. So we see this now, knight f1, knight e3, and the bishop now is asked to leave. If it didn't leave here, there could be big trouble for the queen being trapped. I guess I think black really wants not to lose his dark square bishop. You know, he's got already dark squares. He doesn't want to amplify their effect, and he's got lots of pawns on light squares. So he plays bishop e7. Okay, so white gets the double rooks, which you might not think, you know, is a big deal, because surely with this structure, okay, black on g takes can always recapture on f5 and kind of keep things closed and secure. Well, actually, we're about to see something quite amazing now for this G file. So b5 was played, and if black is allowed b4, then these rooks are actually blasting down and have their own entry points. So white takes en passant. After rook takes, now he carries on with his very crude kind of plan, but very, very effective as it will turn out. So g takes, e takes, and now knight e3, which, okay, puts pressure on d5 and f5, and you might not think this is a big deal, but actually, okay, after rook b5, if I give you 10 seconds here, can you guess what Sergey played? So we've got this pressure on the G file, that's a clue. So what does Sergey play here if I give you 10 seconds starting from now? Okay, knight takes f5. Okay, 10 points if you got that, but you're going to have to get another really good move now. Okay, black plays now, g takes f5. We'll quickly look at queen f5 in a moment, but first let's see, what does white play here? What has this done, this knight sack? Surely the queen is guarding g8. There's no entry on g8 here, because you don't want to give up 2 rooks for the queen, do you? Black will have ample like pieces and could set up another kind of fortress or something. Well, in this position, there's a really crushing move here. Can you guess what was played in this position? So 10 seconds starting from now. Okay, queen takes f5. It hits the queen, it hits the c8. It's a double attack, beautiful double attack. And black resigned actually. What can black do? If he takes, then there's the mate in 2. The rooks come crashing down. And if he doesn't take, well, how does he defend his rook? If we put this in an engine, this is +8 here or something. There's no defense. You know, queen e6. We can try queen e6. Just rook g8, and again, it's picking up the rook at the end of this on c8. That's the big point. It's not rook, 2 rooks for the queen or anything like that. So queen takes f5 is pretty devastating stuff. Bishop f6. We can just take here, or even rook g8. It's pretty crushing. So the knight takes f5 was a great breakthrough move here, and technically, if black was a computer, maybe black would try and hold on with the best move possible, like rook e8. But then white's crashed through really. Knight takes. How would white proceed? Something like h4 is suggested, or rook g4. It was a key pawn, but I guess black can last a bit longer here to be stubborn. If he wanted to be stubborn, black could last longer. But that wasn't played. It seems possibly queen f5 was missed. It's maybe black was in time pressure. So remember, it's only a 15-minute game with 10-second increment. Let's go back. Just rewind slightly here. On this move, queen takes f5. I think white just plays rook takes g6. Although no, queen takes f5 even simpler. No need for rook g6. So queen takes f5, and again we've got the mate in 2. Okay, let's rule that one out. In fact, does rook takes g6 even get an advantage for white? No, because queen takes f4 and the tables will turn, so you have to be careful. Bishop h4 and the tables are turning here. Okay, so let's go back at this game and look at this game. It was interesting, I just thought, because it's like a kind of rule-breaking play from white to allow black to set up blockade, seemingly cozy blockade, to play seemingly reckless g4 move, exchange off the light square bishops. But the key thing, maintaining the pawn wedge, evicting the bishop and doubling the rooks. Evicting the bishop first stage, evict the bishop, double the rooks, then the combination comes. Because actually this move also didn't help black having a loose rook. If we look at the weakness of the last move, a loose rook was also part of the danger for black here. So that also questions, could black have done better here instead of creating that loose rook? On b5 takes, g takes. There was an opportunity to do something about the loose rook. Maybe black wouldn't be that bad. You know, bishop b4, rook c8 has been mentioned. Without that loose rook, the combination doesn't work so well, really. If we tried knight takes f5 here, now queen takes f5, although it does seem to gain some sort of advantage, it's a very different thing here. It seems queen h7, and it looks as though white's advantage is restricted here in this continuation. So let's say, okay, let's go with e6, which looks a bit strange because the rook and knight are on that, but it gets d5. So say rook takes e6, for example, queen takes d5. Okay, it's an advantage apparently. Well, it looks visually very good actually now because of this bishop as well. Cross that diagonal. Okay. So maybe even without a loose rook on c8, it seems that knight takes f5 is a strong idea anyway. Because also, yeah, this bishop's also pointing here. If you can get rid of this d5 pawn and then liberate, this is really dangerous across the diagonal for the black king. So yeah, I thought this was a very neat kind of game, just from a logical point of view, just simply, you know, doubling rooks on the g file, maintaining the wedge, and a beautiful like sacrificial breakthrough with knight and then the queen sack, the temporary queen sack, which is not really a sack, it's just so crushing. Okay, hope you enjoyed that one. Comments or questions on YouTube. Thanks very much.